Welcome to Chelsea FC Daily, your trusted source for every blue story. Hello again, Chelsea family. We are happy to have you back with us. Here at Chelsea FC Daily, we know how confusing transfer news can get, especially when different stories seem to contradict each other. That is exactly why we exist. We take all the noise, all the reports, and all the statements, and we break them down into simple words that make sense. So if you want the real picture without the confusion, you already know where to come. Let us get straight into today's big story. A denial that still leaves questions. Have you ever heard someone deny something so firmly that it almost makes you more curious instead of less? That is exactly the kind of moment Chelsea fans are dealing with right now. Real Madrid have come out and said clearly that they have no plans to sign Enzo Fernandez. But at the same time, the player's own agent has already said that Fernandez is exploring ways to leave Chelsea. So which side of the story should fans believe? Let us walk through everything, piece by piece, and let you decide for yourself. How this story started. This whole situation began when Javier Pastore, who works as the agent for Enzo Fernandez, spoke publicly about his client's future. Pastore did not directly say that Real Madrid were chasing Fernandez. Instead, he suggested that a move to the Spanish giants was something worth considering. Once those comments came out, it did not take long for the story to spread across the football world, with fans and reporters immediately connecting the dots between Fernandez and Madrid. Adding more weight to the story, sources close to the situation had already told reporters back in May that Chelsea value Fernandez at around £120 million, which comes out to about $160 million. That is a massive number for any player, and it shows just how highly Chelsea rate their Argentine midfielder. Even with a price tag that high, reports suggest Real Madrid were simply not interested, no matter the cost. Real Madrid break their silence. Here is where things get really interesting. Big clubs usually stay quiet during transfer rumors. Most of the time, they let their teams handle any comments and avoid making official statements about players who belong to other clubs. But this time, Real Madrid felt it was necessary to speak up directly. In a formal statement released on a Friday, the club said they wanted to respond to recent claims about supposed interest in signing Fernandez. They stated plainly that the club had not made any effort, whether direct or indirect, to sign the player. They also added that they had no plans at all to pursue such a deal in the future. Why would a club go out of its way to release a statement like this? According to Real Madrid themselves, it came down to respect. They said they hold Fernandez in high regard as a talented footballer whose ability is widely known across football. They also said they have a very strong relationship with Chelsea as a club. Because of that respect and their values around loyalty, they felt they needed to firmly deny the rumors, calling them baseless and not reflecting the truth of the situation. This kind of public denial is rare, and that alone makes it worth paying attention to. It shows that Real Madrid did not want any confusion lingering, especially with the World Cup taking place, and Fernandez currently playing for his national team, Argentina. So why did the rumor even start? If Real Madrid really have zero interest, why did this story gain so much attention in the first place? A big part of the answer goes back to something that happened earlier in the year. Back in March, Fernandez gave an interview where he openly admitted that he really likes Madrid. Those simple words carried a lot of weight, especially for a player under contract at a major rival club like Chelsea. The comment did not go unnoticed by Chelsea either. Reports say that Fernandez was actually left out of the squad for 2 matches following that interview, which shows just how seriously the club took his remarks. Pastore, his agent, spoke out at the time and criticized that decision, feeling it was harsh given what his client had said. Then, just this past week, Pastore opened the door once again, making comments that reignited the entire conversation. He pointed out that plenty of people admire Madrid, mentioning that Fernandez has many friends connected to the city and club, and even noting that he himself lives in Madrid. While these comments were not a direct confirmation of a transfer, they were more than enough to keep the speculation alive and spread quickly across football news outlets. What is Fernandez's actual situation at Chelsea? It is important to remember where things officially stand right now. Fernandez is contracted to Chelsea until the year 2032, which is a very long-term deal. Chelsea clearly want him to stay at the club for the long haul. However, reports suggest that behind the scenes, Fernandez has been pushing for a move away from Stamford Bridge for several months now. Despite all of this back and forth, there is a simple and grounded fact that Chelsea fans can hold on to. Sources have said that Chelsea currently expect Fernandez to return for preseason training as normal, once his time with Argentina at the World Cup comes to an end and he takes a short holiday. That detail matters a lot. Even with all the speculation swirling around him, there is no indication right now that he plans to simply refuse to show up or force his way out through drama. Why would Real Madrid actually want a midfielder like Fernandez? Even though Real Madrid have denied any interest, it is still worth asking why a player like Fernandez would even make sense for them in theory. The answer lies in how the club is currently being run. Real Madrid have gone through 2 seasons without winning a major trophy, which for a club of their size and history is seen as a serious disappointment. Because of that, they have already been busy reshaping their squad. This summer alone, they have added defender Marc Cucurella, defender Ibrahima Konate, and attacking midfielder Bernardo Silva to their roster, with right-back Denzel Dumfries also expected to complete a move to the club. On top of these signings, Madrid also made a huge offer of around 150 million euros to sign forward Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid, although that move did not succeed. They have also been linked with Bayern Munich attacker Michael Olise as another attacking option, so Madrid are clearly not standing still this summer. They are actively working to fix the disappointment of the last 2 trophyless seasons. That is exactly why some fans and reporters connected them to a talented midfielder like Fernandez, even without a confirmed bid. Why a midfield signing is currently on hold here is a detail that helps explain a lot of the bigger picture. Even though Real Madrid could use fresh midfield options, reports say any new midfield addition is currently on hold until one of their existing midfielders actually leaves the club first. This is a very normal part of squad building. Clubs often cannot simply keep adding players without making space, both for financial reasons and to keep the dressing room balanced. New Real Madrid manager Jose Mourinho typically likes to set his team up using 3 central midfielders. Right now, he already has a long list of options to choose from, including Aurelien Tchouameni, Eduardo Camavinga, Federico Valverde, Jude Bellingham, Arda Güler, and now newly signed Bernardo Silva as well. That is 6 recognized midfield options, competing for a maximum of 3 starting spots. Any club, even one with unlimited resources, would think twice about adding yet another name into that mix without moving someone out first. According to reports, both Camavinga and possibly Tchouameni are players the club and manager could be open to letting go. Only once a spot clears up would Madrid seriously look at bringing in a new midfielder. This detail alone explains a big part of why Real Madrid's public denial makes complete sense. Even if they admired Fernandez as a player, their current squad situation simply does not create room for him right now. What should Chelsea fans take away from this? So where does this leave Chelsea supporters? On one hand, you have a very clear and strongly worded denial from Real Madrid, stating they have made no effort to sign Fernandez and have no plans to do so. On the other hand, you have comments from the player's own agent that keep hinting at the idea of a move, along with earlier reports that Fernandez has personally expressed admiration for Madrid and has reportedly been pushing for an exit behind the scenes. Does this mean the transfer talk is completely dead? Not necessarily. Statements like the one Real Madrid released can sometimes be about calming public pressure in the moment, especially during a busy transfer window when a club wants to focus on other deals first. But it can also simply mean exactly what it says, that there truly is no active interest from their side right now, especially given their crowded midfield situation. For now, the most solid piece of information Chelsea fans have is this. Fernandez is expected to return for preseason training as normal after his World Cup break. That is a good sign for anyone hoping he stays at Stamford Bridge, at least in the short term. A reminder of why transfer news can be tricky. This entire situation is a great example of why transfer news should always be read carefully. A player's agent can say something that sounds exciting. A club under speculation can respond with a firm denial, and reporters can uncover behind-the-scenes details that add even more layers to the story. None of these pieces fully confirm or fully deny what will actually happen in the end. That is why it always helps to follow the full picture rather than just one headline. A single quote taken out of context can make a transfer look certain, when in reality there are many more moving parts involved, including contract length, squad needs at the buying club, and how much the selling club actually wants to keep the player. What do you think will happen next? Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe Real Madrid's denial, especially given how crowded their midfield already looks with so many strong options in place? Or do you think this is simply a case of a big club trying to calm things down publicly while quietly keeping an eye on the situation for the future? And what about Fernandez himself? Given his long contract until 2032 and his reported admiration for Madrid, do you think Chelsea can keep him happy and settled at Stamford Bridge for years to come? Or is this a transfer story that will eventually come back around? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Thank you for reading Chelsea FC Daily. Thank you so much for joining us again today. We covered a lot of ground, from Real Madrid's strong public denial, to the comments from Enzo Fernandez's agent, to the reasons behind Madrid's crowded midfield, and what it all means for Chelsea moving forward. Stories like this remind us why it always pays to look at the full picture rather than just the loudest headline. Keep checking back with us here at Chelsea FC Daily, because we will continue to follow this story closely and bring you every update in a way that is simple, honest, and easy to understand. This is Chelsea FC Daily, your trusted home for every blue story. Stay tuned, stay hopeful, and as always, up the blues.